I've been playing a game that Mark, you've talked about on the show before, so
Yeah, I have.
I won't retread everything about the game in detail. But I've been playing Paradise Killer, and in short, can I just say how relieved I am that we won't have to bother with the formality of Game of the Year this year? Because every so often, Mark, a game comes down the pike that just speaks to you and says, "This is a Dave Ryan game." And this is the biggest Dave Ryan game of the whole year. This is like I was trying to come up with a comparison. I was at LSD Oberdin was where I was at during the week with the comparison. I'm on now to more vaporwave Oberdin. I think is the best way to put it. This game's style is nearly unmatched this year. I fucking love milling about in this world and finding secrets and just listening to that soundtrack, which is stunning. I love what they've done with the graphical style of the game. That like this is a game that probably could have functioned on a PS2. In terms of like how much horsepower is behind it graphically. Um, I love their decision to go with like the 3D environment, but like the 2D sprites when you find characters in the game. The character designs are absolutely out of this world great. As we were just discussing off the air before we started, Mark, the character names, Doom Jazz, Lady Love Dies, the fucking list goes on. The Witness to the End, the Architect. It's just fucking. I was saying to you, Mark, I want to be in this world for another 40 hours. I've been in it for over 10. I know I'm coming towards the end. I'm starting to get the deep revelations. Things are starting to lead, I think, in a certain direction. I don't want to go to the trials. I don't want it to be over. But I know I'm getting there. And it's so refreshing in this day and age to be heading towards the end of the game and it leaving you wanting more rather than going, oh, thank God, I finally finished that. Um, the writing in this game is fantastic. It's one of those where I'm not kind of tapping A to get through things just to get to the next clue or anything like that. I'm genuinely reading everything and poring over all the details and the case notes and all this sort of stuff. I think maybe my only problem with it so far, because I love the puzzles, I love the idea that so much of the grunt work of the detective work is really put on you. This game does not hand you anything easily. The only problem I've experienced with it so far is just some mild texture popping issues. Sometimes I'm running through an area and I just get up close to a wall and the wall is just a little bit too fuzzy. It hasn't popped in yet. Or I had one time where a ladder hadn't popped into view that was there, even though the prompt was telling me that the ladder was there. But this is all like relatively minor stuff because there's been nothing game breaking or that impacts my ability to just keep going past the fuzzy wall or whatever. I'm deeply in love with this game. I can't get enough of it. I had promised you guys last week that I was going to play this and Hades took a fucking backseat this week. Let me tell you, it's been.
Honestly, I'm not surprised that was like. I figured that if you picked this one up first, or it just picked up in general, that you would find it very difficult to put it down. Like I started playing this when I was going to the Ring of Kerry, and like every time we kind of stopped to like chill in the hotel for a bit, I had to pick it up and play some more because like just that world to explore. Because the one thing that, or the two things that I think are actually quite understated about the game, because everyone immediately goes to just the style and presentation, and obviously it's the most immediate thing there. But one, and as you mentioned there, is that the overall like writing, it's a very very well written game. It, like piecemeal gives you little bits of the story and like clues to what's going on, and you think things are going in one direction, then it kind of pulls you over here, and by the end, and like by the time I got to the trial, I was still unsure on a couple of things. And the way it goes through the trial and lets you kind of go back through all of your notes and everything you discovered kind of helps you to come to a more kind of conclusive decision. And I'll be very curious to see like on the choices that you make. The other thing as well is that overall, like exploring the island, it's is as much it is a kind of Phoenix Wright detective game, there's also a lot of exploration and finding as many blood crystals as possible. I do think that the platform, and I think this is the one complaint I had before, is that the platforming is a little bit clunky. Like, it's not as refined as it could be. And part of that is that the environments themselves are not as, polished. And I kind of like the brutalism to the environment, but sometimes it's not as polished as it could be.
One of the things I liked about it was that it doesn't look like the game wants you to platform, but it does, and it's more through, like, after a few hours just kind of experimenting around that I figured, I'm seeing blood crystals here and there. The game actually wants me to start, like, jumping between buildings, this or that, and nobody told me in terms of making hard to reach areas more navigable. I'm trying not to spoil anything on Jack, but no one told me about that one, shall we say, relaxation facility that you can pay in blood crystals for that helps you in that regard.
Yes.
Because again, all you are told, it's very Breath of the Wild. The start of the game, because it's like, right, here's the setup, fucking off you go, and here's where you want to go as soon as you think you're ready to finish it. It's like they tell you what's gone down, they tell you that the trial is going to take place here, and you have to come back to the judge to start the trial, which is the end of the game. Anything between those 2 points is entirely up to you, and I love that.
I mean, I had to say, Breath of the Wild doesn't have you falling out of a prison while Stay Forever starts blasting up.
No,
so,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Just for the banter, should I just try and do the trial straight away? Because I don't think either of you have done that.
Didn't we have this conversation on the first week that I talked about it, Jack, that I wanted you, if you was to play it, just to go straight to the trial and see what happens?
Yep.
Yeah.
I might try it.
I don't know, because I'd be worried that it would spoil something.
That's the thing, because I have no idea how that works in terms of the trial, because like the one thing that I try to...
It'd be great if the judge was like, far off.
Well, no, because here's the thing, because one of the cases that I, for whatever reason, I didn't have any evidence for, I picked someone because I was like, well, fuck it, I just need to pick someone. And they were like, no, you can't pick this person because you've got like no case to make against them. I can't remember what happened exactly. So I don't know if you went there at the start without any evidence at all, whether the judge will just say,
anything.
Just fuck off. So I'm not sure about that.
So it must, because there are multiple timelines you establish throughout, so maybe you have to get somebody's where they were on the evening and all that stuff before you can try and fit a timeline around them. I'm definitely, it's something I'm going to do. Like, once I beat it, I'm going to go start a new game and run straight up and see what happens.
Okay, I'd say, tell you what, Dave, you do that. Jack, please just, play the game as you want.
Yeah.
What was your, approach to start with? Because as soon as I landed and, was on the island of Paradise, I immediately, I don't think I even spoke to anyone for the first 3 to 4 hours. I was just wandering around, finding blood crystals and just kind of exploring the island. And then at some point I was like, okay, I remember I stumbled across, because I thought that there was just the one case to solve on the island, and I stumbled across a blood patch that was like a dead body or whatever, or there was a dead person there, and then immediately I have this other case that unfolds. As you were mentioning there about the game doesn't tell you anything, and you just kind of naturally stumble across this case and then this case, and how it all kind of intertwines together, and it's just so well put together.
And there's places it's not, I don't want to say it's quite like Breath of the Wild in the way that everywhere that looks like it has nothing in it in Breath of the Wild has something, but there's an awful lot of places in Paradise Killer where you're thinking, I'm just wandering off here. It doesn't look like the game wants me to be walking around here, and I'll keep going, and then all of a sudden there will be something of consequence around a corner. And it could be a blood crystal, or it could be a crime, or a clue to do with a crime, or
fucking Shinji hanging around.
Shinji, I think if we were to do something I'd been toying with, the Character of the Year award in the game.
He wins hands down, or it,
but
or them.
I think
the fuck it is.
I think because we get 10 nominees in a category, I think you could get all 10 out of Paradise Killer. You could easily, with some left over. It's just so good. I love it. It makes me smile. I'm going straight back to it as soon as we stop recording here. This is running right up my list of favorite games of the year. you know, I don't want any spoilers from you, Mark, but I'm just saying out loud now. I just hope it sticks the landing for me, and if it does, it's gonna take some beating.